On July 28th at 11:11 p.m., Archangel Michael interrupted a dark magic ritual meant to pull you away from heaven's plan. You were the tardy. If you don't watch this, it may resume tonight. It happened at 11:11 p.m. on July 28th. A divine alarm was sounded in the spirit realm. Archangel Michael, heaven's warrior, was dispatched. He did not come with a whisper. He came with fire. You were the target. The plan was nearly complete. A dark ritual had begun in secret against you. Your name spoken. Your photo used. Your path cursed. This wasn't just bad energy. It was demonic intent. A goal to pull you off God's path permanently. But God stepped in, and now you're being warned. The attack was timed when you were most vulnerable, tired, confused, doubting God's voice, feeling forgotten. The enemy saw an open door in your soul. He used someone who knew your wounds and fears, and with that connection, the ritual was done. You may not have seen candles or circles, but your sun in heaviness was no coincidence. That late-night anxiety wasn't just life. It was war. God's mercy interrupted it before it finished. But the energy still lingers, unfinished and dangerous. What you're feeling now is the echo of that ritual. Moments of confusion, sudden tears, scattered focus, spiritual detachment, even from things that once lit you up. The enemy is hoping you won't take this seriously. He's counting on you breaking it off. But heaven is shouting, wake up before it resumes. There's a reason this message reached you today. The ritual paused. But if you ignore this, it resets. The window to break it completely is closing. This is not a scare tactic. It's spiritual truth. God is offering you the exit before it restarts. Michael fought hard to give you this chance. Now you must fight with your decision to listen. You're not just watching a video. You're in warfare. If you walk away now, you may miss the rescue. If you open your spirit now, the shift begins. God does not warn without purpose, and He never allows exposure without escape. This is that moment, your chance to sever the tie. Heaven is watching to see what you do next. Type I am covered to get blessing 5481. Some people think a dark ritual needs blood, candles, or loud chants. But the most dangerous rituals are quiet. They happen through words, thoughts, and intentions. They happen when someone speaks your name with jealousy, with anger, or with bitterness. That energy can become a doorway. And if your soul is not guarded, it lets something in. On July 28th, the door was nearly open. The person doing it didn't wear black robes. They didn't look evil. In fact, they smiled at you. But behind their actions, something dark was hiding. This ritual started the moment they felt you rising. You had been growing, moving closer to your divine calling. Heaven had begun opening doors for you. Blessings were lining up. Then suddenly, blockages, confusion, tiredness, loss of focus. That was no accident. That was spiritual sabotage. Someone couldn't handle your light, so they tried to twist it into darkness. They knew just enough about you to speak against you, and their words were used in that ritual, like keys in the spirit. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6210. When the ritual began, Archangel Michael felt the shift. Heaven monitors movements like this. You may not have heard the chant, but Michael heard it. The enemy was bold, trying to rewrite your spiritual assignment. He wanted to push you into delay. He wanted to introduce confusion that would make you second-guess everything. Even your prayers would feel like they hit a wall. And if heaven had not stepped in when it did, you may have accepted that darkness is normal. That's how deep this ritual tried to go. Michael stood between you and what they sent. He lifted his sword and cut through the darkness before it could enter your full being. But here's what you must understand. When Michael blocks, it is a pause, not a permanent removal. Unless you respond, you have to agree with heaven's protection. You must say yes to the refuge. Because if you return to the same old thinking, the same old patterns, the ritual can resume again. That's what the enemy is hoping for right now. Type I am delivered to get blessing 7042. Have you felt that strange pull lately? Like you're being distracted for no reason? Forgetting things? Questioning your own worth? These are side effects of a spirit trying to stay close. It can't take you over, but it can press against your energy. It can confuse your sleep. It can lower your joy. It can even make you avoid spiritual things, because it feeds on distraction. This was the spirit the ritual tried to bind to you. But because you're listening now, the power is breaking. Do not underestimate the moment you're in right now. You didn't stumble across this message. You were divinely drawn. You were pulled here by angels, by divine light. Because heaven still sees the blueprint of your purpose. And that purpose was the very thing they tried to curse. They wanted you to miss it. They wanted you to turn away from it. That's why they targeted your clarity, your peace, your heart. But God said, not this one. Not today. Type I am chosen to get blessing 7331. Let's speak truth plainly. Someone you know was part of this. Not with their hands, but with their heart. Their jealousy became fuel. Their words became weapons. Their silence became spiritual agreement. And when the ritual was done, their energy stayed connected to it. You may feel bad thinking this way, but heaven says you must see clearly. You cannot break what you refuse to name. God is not revealing this to make you angry, but to make you free. You were never meant to walk blindly into danger. That's why this word is coming now. Because someone is still hoping their curse will land. They are watching your life, waiting for signs of failure. But heaven is rewriting their plan. Right now, the fire of God is moving through the atmosphere. If you agree with His truth, every hidden dart will fall. Every planted seed of darkness will wither. And what was sent to delay you will now push you forward faster. Type I am protected to get blessing 7504. Now that you know what all has happened, you must act. This is not just about feeling better. It's about rising into your divine role with power. The ritual was meant to pull you off heaven's path. But God's warning is your invitation to return to it. You still have time. You still have authority. But you must break the agreement fully, through truth, through prayer, through obedience. Michael did his part. Now do yours. Type I am redeemed to get blessing 7917. The one who did this ritual is someone who smiled at you. They knew just enough about your life to plant a seed of harm. But they didn't need your permission to start it. All they needed was access to your energy. A voodoo, a memory, a conversation, a Reigniting. Something you gave freely when you trusted them. They took that access and turned it into a weapon. They masked it in jealousy, but heaven saw the deeper intent. There was a time you felt this person was meant to help you, but now their energy brings heaviness. You may feel tired after talking to them. You may feel confused when you see their name. That's not just emotional. It's spiritual. God is showing you signs. He's allowing your body to feel what your spirit already knows. Something is wrong with this connection. And it's not just unhealthy, it's unholy. Type I am awake to get the blessing 8201. This person whispered your name, but they didn't pray for you. They wondered why you were rising, why things started working for you. And when they saw heaven smiling on you, they couldn't handle it. Instead of clapping, they cursed. They never said the words out loud, but their spirit agreed with darkness. That agreement opened a doorway in the realm of shadows, and someone on the other side took the invitation seriously. You didn't feel the ritual itself, but you felt the aftershock, the strange sadness, the sudden doubts, the conflict with people for no reason, the dreams that didn't make sense. Those were signs. Heaven didn't let it land fully, but you still caught the smell of smoke. Archangel Michael stepped in just in time. He interrupted the channel that was opening between you and something dark. But now, you must close it completely. Type I am sealed to get blessing 8390. Sometimes spiritual attacks look like emotional breakdowns. They look like panic, silence, isolation, or even overthinking. But they are not just feelings, they are signals. The enemy loves to hide behind things that look normal. He hopes you won't notice the pattern. It's why God is exposing it now, so you can stop calling it a rough patch and start calling it what it really is: spiritual warfare. You are in a holy moment right now, a moment where heaven is watching what you do next. Will you go back to the old patterns, or will you walk into freedom? The choice is yours, but the window is small. The one who sent this energy may try again. They may smile again, F'st you again, act like nothing happened. But don't be fooled. God is saying, watch their fruit, not their face. Type I am separated to get blessing 8423. Heaven is protecting you from what you didn't even know was sent. But God wants more than protection. He wants restoration. He wants to give you back the clarity you lost, the joy you misplaced, the fire that went quiet. That's what the enemy tried to kill with this ritual. Not your body, but your spirit. He tried to unplug you from heaven's voice, but heaven reconnected you with this message. This is your confirmation. The strange heaviness wasn't in your head. The confusion wasn't weakness. It was a spiritual signal. And now that you heard the truth, it must be answered. Not with fear, but with faith. Not with panic, but with power. You are not alone. Angels are near. Archangel Michael didn't just fight once. He is still guarding your door. Type I'm under angels to get blessing 8666. Let your eyes open now. Let your discernment rise again. You are walking into a new level of vision. A level where fake connections fall away. Where your time is guarded. Where your heart is covered. Where the plans of darkness cannot land. But it begins with obedience. You must move with the urgency of heaven. This message is not just words. It is a sword cutting through lies. Let it sever you from what wants to drain you. Type I am God's vessel to get blessing 8749. What you just heard isn't just a warning. It's a rescue. If this message reached your heart, it means God is still reaching for others too. When you support this prophetic mission through a super thanks, membership, or a seed given through PayPal link in the video description, you become a divine messenger yourself. You are helping light break through dark places. You are sowing into a spiritual harvest where others are delivered, restored, and awakened, just like you were today. The Lord says in Isaiah 58:8, "Then your light will break forth like the dawn," and this moment is your invitation to release that light. I heard the Holy Spirit say, "Let those who were just rescued now become rescuers." Bless what blesses others. Don't just listen. Respond like someone chosen. Support now. Give light. Be heaven's answer. When dark spirits gather in secret, they don't waste time. They work with instructions, assignments, targets. And on the night of July 28th, the target was you. Not your home. Not your bank account. Not your friends. But your destiny. That is what they feared the most. Because your destiny is a weapon in God's hand. If you ever step into it fully, darkness will lose ground. So the plan wasn't to destroy you all at once. It was to pull you just far enough off the path. This kind of attack doesn't come with loud explosions. It comes in soft misdirection. Little changes. Subtle distractions. Delays that feel normal. Doubts that sound like your own voice. Invitations that look harmless but lead to old patterns. This is how the enemy detours you from the narrow road. He doesn't block the door. You just stop walking toward it. And soon, what was once clear becomes foggy. What was once exciting becomes heavy. That's the power of a spiritual detour. I'm aligned to get the blessing 8860. But God didn't let it go unseen. He sent this warning with urgency. Because time is too short for delay. Your purpose cannot wait any longer. That's why Michael interrupted the ritual. He saw where it was leading. He saw the slow unraveling of your divine path. If it had continued, you would have started changing in ways you didn't understand. Losing passion. Settling for less. Staying quiet when you were born to speak. The plan was not to kill you, but to make you spiritually sleepy. To lull you out of your calling. The same way Samson fell asleep in the lap of Delilah while his strength was being cut. That's what they hoped you'd do. Fall asleep while your fire was stolen. But heaven shouted your name. And Michael responded. He stood in the middle of the ritual and said, "Not this one. That's why you're here now, because you woke up in time." I am awake to get blessing 8991. This isn't just about the attack. It's about what the attack trying to stop. Your purpose is not small. It's not ordinary. Your walk carries impact. Your words carry weight. You have no idea who needs the version of you that's fully awake in God. That's why the enemy rushed to block it. Not because of who you are now, but because of who you're becoming. You're dangerous to darkness when you know your identity. You carry prophetic oil. You carry healing fire. You carry the kind of light that breaks chains, not just for you, but for others. So when someone started speaking against you, it wasn't just jealousy. It was spiritual sabotage. The enemy tried to use them to send a distraction to your soul. But God blocked it in time. Now He's calling you to come back to full power. To stop hiding your gift. To stop dimming your light. I am God's weapon to get blessing 9147. Some of you were just days away from breakthrough before the attack hit. A door was opening. A connection was being made. But then things paused. Things shifted. And you thought maybe God changed His mind. No, He didn't. The enemy tried to intercept it. But now that you've seen the truth, you can reclaim what was delayed. You can take back what was blocked. The fire is still inside you. The call is still active. A spiritual detour was always successful. But now it's time to take the road back. Not with guilt, not with shame, but with boldness. Heaven is waiting. Your angels are still standing at the door. Your instructions are not gone. They are just waiting for your yes. The assignment the enemy placed on your life is now broken. But the assignment heaven wrote over your life is alive. Type I am reconnected to get blessing 9260. This is not just healing, it's reactivation. You are being realigned, repositioned. What almost pulled you out is now pushing you deeper in. The ritual failed. The trap missed. The delay was interrupted. And now you're standing at the edge of breakthrough again. Don't turn back. Don't second-guess this moment. God has cleared the way. Now walk it with fire. Type I am restored to get blessing 9311. What tried to touch you on July 28th wasn't just a passing shadow. It was an ancient spirit. A familiar one. One that has been around your bloodline before. One that watched your grandparents, your parents, and maybe even you, waiting for a moment to strike. This spirit doesn't knock down doors. It slides through cracks. Cracks made by fear, made by wounds, made by betrayal. It waits for the right voice to speak, and when it hears someone curse your name, it answers. The person who agreed with this darkness may not even understand what they triggered, but their emotions opened a spiritual gate, and the spirit that came through it had one goal: to bring confusion to your divine path, to make you forget who you are, to make you doubt what God said. This is not new. This spirit has attacked others in your family line before, but what it didn't expect this time was your awakening. Type I am breaking chains to get the blessing 9402. That's why Archangel Michael moved so quickly. This wasn't just about you. It was about your future children, about the people you're meant to help, about the cycles you're called to end. If this spirit succeeded, it would have kept generations in delay. But the Lord said no more. Heaven declared that the chain ends here, that the silence ends with you, that the oil begins with you. You were never just fighting for yourself. You've been fighting for freedom across your entire bloodline. The dreams you've had lately, the strange symbols, the lost places, the people from your past, these weren't random. They were spiritual clues, warnings. God has been trying to show you what was rising in the background. But now that Michael stepped in, it's time to finish what was interrupted. You are not a victim. You are a warrior. And you have divine permission to end what your ancestors couldn't. Type I am the breaker to get blessing 9477. There's a reason your life has felt heavy during certain seasons. It wasn't just your emotions. It was a generational pattern. A dark current trying to pull you into its cycle. Every time you tried to rise, something pulled you back. That something had a name. That something had an altar. But that altar is falling now. Because your awakening is the earthquake. The fire of your obedience is shaking the foundation of every ancient curse. The people who spoke against you may never apologize. They may act like nothing happened. But heaven has seen it, and heaven is answering it. What was spoken in secret is now being judged in the open. You don't have to get revenge. You don't have to defend yourself. Michael has already drawn his sword, and what was sent to harm you is now being sent back to the pit it came from. Type I am surrounded by fire to get blessing 9511. This spirit wanted you to be quiet. It wanted you to doubt your prayers, to give up on your dreams, to settle for survival. But you were made for more. You were made to shift atmospheres, to speak words that break chains. That's why this attack came. It was a warning to hell that you're getting too close to breakthrough. You didn't feel that anxiety for no reason. It was a reaction to your rising. Every time you praise God, even while hurting, you push this spirit back. Every time you choose light, even when darkness surrounds you, you prove it lost. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are becoming everything hell hoped you would forget. That's why this message reached you. That's why your heart is beating faster now. Because your spirit knows it's time. Type I am God's fire to get blessing 9624. There's oil on your voice. There's oil on your yes. Heaven has already marked you as the one who breaks the line. The one who speaks truth when others stay silent. The one who rises when others lay down. That's why the ritual came. It was desperate, but it failed. Because God has chosen you for this hour. The curse ends with you. The turning point is now. Type I am the shift to get blessing 9740. You were carrying something they couldn't explain. A glow. A peace. A calling. It wasn't loud, but it was strong. And darkness could see it before you even knew what it was. That's why the attack came. That's why someone close to you started acting different. Because they could feel something divine growing inside you. They may not have known what it was, but the spirit in them did. And that spirit feared your light. Your light was never meant to fit in. It was meant to stand out. That's why you've always felt different. You tried to shrink to make others comfortable, but the glow wouldn't dim. You tried to go unnoticed, but favor kept following you. You tried to settle, but your soul stayed restless. That restlessness was heaven calling you higher, and darkness couldn't stop it, so it tried to block it. Type I carry light to get the blessing 9833. The ritual done against you was a last attempt to silence that glow. But God didn't allow it. Archangel Michael stood in the gap. He saw the danger. He saw the weight of what you carry. And he said, not this one. Michael doesn't come for everyone. But when he shows up, it's because heaven sees something serious. Something valuable. Something worth defending. You were that something. There was a plan to make you think you were crazy. To flood your mind with confusion. To make you second-guess every decision. To turn your boldness into fear. But that plan has now been shattered. Because you didn't stop seeking God. You didn't stop praying, even when it felt dried. You didn't stop worshiping, even when it felt empty. And that kept your light alive. Type I am protected by fire to get blessing 9915. The people who turned on you were not the real threat. It was the spirit working through them. That's why they smiled in your face and shifted behind your back. That's why they pretended to support you, but secretly wished for your downfall. And that's why you felt a strange pain in your spirit even without words. Because your spirit knows when energy shifts. It knows when loyalty is fake. But now God is giving you spiritual sight. You are not blind anymore. You will see people for who they are. You will hear their words but feel their spirit. You will know when someone is not carrying peace. And you will know when to walk away. This gift of discernment is part of your rising. It's the protection you prayed for. And now God is answering. Type I see through spirits to get blessing 10,002. The enemy knew you were stepping into a new season. A season of clarity. A season of authority. A season of miracles. So he sent someone to disrupt your focus. To shake your confidence. to place fear right at the edge of your promise. But the trap failed, because your soul still reached for the light, because your faith still whispered, God is near, and that whisper was enough to summon angels. Don't let the shadows trick you. The fear you feel is not final. The pain you carry is not proof of defeat. It's a sign that your spirit is healing. You're not who you were last year. You're not even who you were last month. The ritual may have delayed you, but it didn't define you. You're still moving, still rising, still glowing. Type I am unstoppable to get blessing 10,077. This light on you will grow stronger now. It won't be hidden anymore. You don't need permission to shine. Heaven already said yes. Your yes has weight. Your prayers have fire. And the one who tried to block your light is now watching you glow even brighter. You are no longer afraid. You are no longer confused. The path is clearing, and your steps are ordered. Type I'm heaven's light to get blessing 10,110. The energy that was sent towards you did not disappear. It was seen, it was measured, and it was judged. In the courts of heaven, nothing spoken in secret is hidden. Every word has weight. Every curse has consequence. And what was sent to stop you is now being reversed. Archangel Michael didn't just interrupt the ritual. He redirected. The power that was meant to harm you is returning to its source. This isn't about revenge. It's about spiritual law. The Word of God says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." That's not a suggestion. That's a verdict. Heaven keeps records, and your name is under protection. When they called your name with hate, they gave heaven permission to fight for you. The battle is not yours. It's God's. And He is moving now. Type I am avenged by heaven to get the blessing 10,205. Some of the strange events in their life will begin soon. Delays, blockages, restlessness. It's not because you wish them harm. It's because they touched what was holy. You are set apart. Your life is not ordinary. When someone moves against you with dark intention, they are not just fighting you. They are resisting God. And He does not stay silent. He does not ignore injustice. His angels are swift. That's why you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Let them talk. Let them twist the story. Let them act like nothing happened. God knows, and He will speak on your behalf. You won't have to defend your name. He's doing it for you. That's why your peace will return. That's why your spirit will feel lighter. The warfare is lifting. Type I am defended to get blessing 10,290. You may start to see the people who hurt you act strange. They may pull away, or come back pretending nothing happened. But remember this, spiritual actions have spiritual consequences. You don't need to respond with anger. Respond with distance, with boundaries, with clarity. The one who once smiled while cursing you will feel the shift, because the covering on your life is now active. This divine protection is not just for today. It's for every day forward. Michael has marked your name in heaven's scroll. The ritual has failed. The curses are canceled. The energy sent against you has turned around. And now the one who sent it will know that you are not alone. That your soul is not open to darkness. That your spirit is sealed by divine power. Type I am sealed by God to get blessing 10,344. You don't need to fear anymore. The season of spiritual attack is closing. You passed the test. You stayed open to God. You didn't give up, even when it was heavy. You fought in silence. You cried in secret. and heaven saw all of it. And now you are stepping into reward, into restoration, into recovery. What was delayed is being returned to you, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. This is the turning point, the moment the wind changes, the moment your voice grows stronger. You are not fragile, you are chosen. You are not broken, you are blessed. And no ritual, no witchcraft, no dark word can change what God has spoken. His word over your life is louder than their curses. His promise is stronger than their plans. And His timing is perfect. Type I trust God's timing to get blessing 10,407. To walk with confidence now. The cloud is lifting. The attack is over. The return has begun. What was spoken against you is now working in your favor. What they meant for evil, God is turning for good. The one who tried to trap you will now witness your rising. They will see your joy return, your favor increase, your purpose become clear, and they will know it was God who rescued you. Type I am walking free to get blessing 10,490. Your voice was never ordinary. It carries something heaven placed deep inside you. When you speak, chains break. When you sing, peace enters rooms. When you pray, fire falls. That's why the enemy targeted your mouth. The goal of the ritual wasn't just to confuse you. It was to silence you, to make you doubt the power of your own words, to make you question if God even hears you anymore. But the truth is, He always has. The enemy tried to choke your spirit, to drown you in fear, to cover your voice in shame. And that's why your thoughts felt heavy. That's why you were suddenly quiet. But that silence was not your true self. It was spiritual suppression. The darkness was hoping you'd stay quiet forever. But you're not going to. Because God is touching your mouth again. He's reigniting your sound. Type my voice is rising to get the blessing 10,533. There is a word inside you that must be spoken. Someone else's freedom depends on it. The enemy wanted to bury that word in silence. But heaven is pulling it out of you now. You are not here by accident. This message is part of your awakening. God is saying, speak again. Pray again. Worship again. Your sound is not weak. It is a spiritual weapon. When you use it, angels move. Do you remember the moments you felt like crying for no reason? Or the days you couldn't find words to say? That was the weight of the spiritual attack. The ritual didn't just target your body. It pressed on your soul. It tried to create spiritual muteness. But even in that pressure, something inside you survived. Something kept whispering, don't give up. That whisper was heaven. It never left you. Type I speak life to get blessing 10,611. You may have lost your words for a while, but you didn't lose your power. Your gift was only waiting. And now, the time has come to use it again. The same voice they tried to curse will be used by God to heal others. The same prayers they tried to block will now break spiritual chains. The ritual did not win. It failed. Because your voice is returning, and this time, it's stronger. The one who tried to shut you down is watching. But they cannot stop what God has started. You're no longer afraid to speak. You're no longer unsure of your calling. You are stepping into boldness. You are walking in truth. Your words will now carry even more fire, because they came through the fire. The silence is breaking. The glow is returning. Type I speak with fire to get blessing 10,694. When you speak now, heaven will echo you. Your words will carry weight in the spirit realm. Things will shift. Walls will fall. Pain will lift. Because your voice is now connected directly to God's authority. You've been through the storm, and you're still speaking. That makes your words dangerous to darkness. That makes your praise powerful. And that makes your testimony unstoppable. You don't need to sound perfect. You just need to speak from truth. Even a whisper from a believer can shake the heavens. Even a broken hallelujah can move angels. So speak even when you're scared. Pray even when you're tired. Your voice is not your own anymore. It belongs to the King. And the King is calling you to speak again. Type "My sound is holy" to get blessing 10,740. Every voice that carries heaven's fire must go through a test. You went through yours. You survived the silence. And now your mouth is open again. This is not just healing. It's release. Your voice will now do what it was created to do. Bless, break, build, and bring others to God. No more fear. No more shame. Only power. You are heaven's echo now. Type "I am the echo" to get blessing 10,788. There was a time you felt like the pain would consume you. Like the heaviness would never lift. You thought you were breaking, but you were actually being refined. The fire you walked through wasn't to destroy you. It was to reveal you. To burn away what no longer served your purpose. To make your spirit pure, strong, and sharp. The attack was loud, but it could not take your soul. The pain was deep, but it did not kill your purpose. God allowed the fire, but He didn't let it burn your identity. That's why you still feel called, still feel chosen, still feel the pull toward something greater. The enemy tried to use fire to stop you, but God used fire to shape you. You are not the same person you were before the battle. You're wiser now. You're stronger now. And you're ready for what's next. Type "I rise from fire" to get the blessing 10,834. Every flame that was meant to hurt you has now become your fuel. The tears you cried in silence have watered the ground you're about to reap from. You prayed when it was hard. You praised when it didn't make sense. You gave when you had little. And now heaven is multiplying your harvest. What the enemy meant for harm is now unlocking overflow. Because you didn't stop trusting God. Your faith during the fire activated angels. Your prayers during the pain became weapons. You didn't even know how powerful you were while you were in it. But now you're seeing it clearly. God didn't forget about you. He was preparing you. Every delay was training. Every loss was instruction. Every betrayal was a setup for divine restoration. The fire wasn't your finish. It was your furnace. Type "My furnace became favor" to get blessing 10,890. Even now you may feel some heat. You may feel resistance. But that's not punishment. It's proof. Proof that you carry weight in the Spirit. Proof that your name is known in both heaven and hell. Darkness only fights what it fears. And it fears you stepping fully into your assignment. But it's too late now. You've already crossed the line. You're not going back. You're not the same. You carry survivor's oil now. You carry battle-tested anointing. It can't be taught. It must be lived. And you've lived it. That's why when you speak, it hits different. That's why when you pray, things shift. You didn't learn it in a book. You learned it in the valley. In the late nights. In the silent suffering. And now your voice carries power because your story carries proof. Type "My story is my sword" to get blessing 10,933. Don't be surprised if people ask you for wisdom now. Don't be shocked if others sense something different about you. That's the afterglow of fire. That's the residue of deliverance. You carry what many never survive. You wear the grace of the rescued and the oil of the overcomer. The attack made you dangerous to darkness, to delay, and to dissection. You will now walk into places that once scared you, speak in rooms that once rejected you, and bless people who once misunderstood you. Because you're no longer moving from pain, you're moving from purpose. God didn't just bring you out, He brought you through. And now, the enemy has nothing left to throw at you that you haven't already walked through with God. Type I am God's proof to get blessing 10,990. The fire you came through will now light the path for others. You're no longer a victim. You're a vessel. A living reminder that God still rescues, still revives, still restores. You didn't lose yourself in the flames. You found Him in them. And what you found cannot be taken. The blessing starts now. Type the fire made me holy to get blessing 11,011. If this fire refined you, let it now ignite others. Every gift you sow into this prophetic work becomes a spark that lights up someone else's darkness. When you click super thanks, join membership, or give through PayPal link in the description, you're not just giving, you're prophesying that no one has to walk through the fire alone. The Lord says, you are the light of the world, and when you give, that light multiplies. I heard in prayer, those who survive the flame will release the flood. That is you. Bless this message so it could bless the next soul heaven sends. Don't just leave this fire, carry it forward. Give boldly. So light. Spark deliverance. There are people, places, and patterns that God is now pulling you away from. Some of them look like help but carried hidden harm. Some relationships felt warm but were slowly draining your fire. The ritual didn't only attack you from the outside. It tried to hold you through emotional cords, soul ties, attachments that felt innocent but were never healthy. God is showing you what's been slowing you down. This separation isn't punishment. It's protection. You asked for elevation, and elevation always requires separation. God is not being cruel, He is being clear. You can't walk into a new season while carrying the weights of the old one. The people who were secretly rooting against you cannot follow you into this next level. Their agreement with darkness cut the cord, and heaven is backing away for your safety. Type I release every weight to get the blessing 11,070. You may feel lonely during this shift. Don't be alarmed. This is part of the cleansing. God is removing the voices that confused you, the ones that made you question your worth, the ones that smiled but secretly competed with you, the same ones that carried your name to the wrong altars. He is now cutting the connection in the spirit. You don't need to fight them. Just let them go. Heaven is teaching you how to love from a distance, how to bless and block, how to pray without staying connected to pain. Not everyone you love is good for your assignment, and that's okay. God will fill the space with people who carry peace, people who pray for you when you're not looking, people who speak your name in light, not in darkness. Type I make room for light to get blessing 11,144. You've outgrown some circles, and that's why you felt out of place. It's not pride. It's spiritual maturity. You're not trying to be better. You're trying to be healed. And healing requires clean space. God is making that space now. It may feel like a loss, but it's really a shift. He's not removing people to hurt you. He's removing people so they don't hurt you anymore. The person who sent that ritual was able to send it because of proximity, because they had access. But access is being shut down. Your heart is being sealed. Your time is being guarded. Your light is being covered. From this moment on, no one who carries hidden darkness will feel comfortable around you again. Your spirit will feel exposed by your presence. Type I am covered and guarded to get blessing 11,199. You may feel like something is leaving your life, and it is. But what's leaving is not your loss. It's heaven's rescue. Some connections weren't helping you grow. They were secretly praying you'd fall. God heard their conversations. God felt their intentions. And He's answering it with silence, distance, and sudden shifts. You won't have to explain anything. He's doing it Himself. You prayed for clarity. This is what it looks like. Clarity sometimes shows up as people leaving without warning, as plans changing quickly, as doors closing fast. But God's hand is in the shift. He's making room for divine appointments, for real support, for spiritual family. This is the beginning of divine realignment, and it starts with release. Type I trust the shift to get blessing 11,260. Some of the pain you've carried wasn't from wounds, it was from holding on too long. God is helping you let go. He's not asking you to hate them. He's asking you to heal. And healing can't happen in the same place the harm did. That's why the shift is so sudden. That's why things are changing fast. It's because your spirit is rising, and heaven is making the way clear. Type I am ready to rise to get blessing 11,303. When Michael showed up on July 28th at 11:11 p.m., he didn't just stop a ritual. He cleared the spiritual air around you. What was invisible to your eyes was fully visible in the spirit realm. There were words, thoughts, and curses floating in the air, trying to land on you. That's why you felt tired in rooms for no reason. That's why you sometimes walked into spaces and suddenly felt drained. It wasn't just emotion. It was atmosphere. The ritual stirred up smoke around your spirit. It clouded your thoughts. It made everything feel harder. But when Michael came, he blew that smoke away. He cleared the fog. He cut off what tried to cling to you. Some of that fog was not yours. It came from people who didn't want to see you free. But freedom is here now. The air around you is being purified. Type my air is clear to get the blessing 11,344. Your spirit had been suffocating under invisible pressure. That's why even good things felt heavy. That's why you've been waking up tired. Why your thoughts felt like noise. But now, the pressure is lifting. Michael didn't just block the attack. He reset your atmosphere. You will breathe easier now. Your room will feel lighter. Your prayers will feel stronger. Because the air is now holy again. Every word spoken against you left a trail, a spiritual fingerprint. But Michael found each one. He followed the energy. He erased the evidence. He shut the portals that were opened without your permission. That's why the shift feels different. Because it's not just emotional, it's environmental. Your whole space is being realigned with heaven. Type I dwell in divine air to get blessing 11,390. Don't be surprised if certain places now feel uncomfortable. Your spirit will feel when the air is wrong. That's discernment rising. You will begin to sense the energy around people. What once felt normal will now feel strange. Because God is teaching you to recognize peace, to guard your air, to protect your space. Not everyone should have access to your presence. Atmospheres matter. What you listen to, what you watch, what you allow around you. This is a holy hour, and Michael is still standing near. His sword is still raised. He is guarding the air where your purpose grows, where your prayers rise, where your mind rests. Let nothing pollute that again. Tap I protect my space to get blessing 11,433. Even your home is being touched. Angels are walking room to room, removing what was left behind, shaking off the residue of old conversations, casting out the spirit of heaviness. You may feel the urge to clean, to pray aloud, to anoint your space. Do it. These are not just actions. They are prophetic. You are preparing your home for new glory. The energy that once made you cry without knowing why is leaving. The confusion that lingered after certain calls or visits is breaking. What tried to hover above you is now under your feet. Because Michael didn't just fight, he finished it. And now, your atmosphere is being filled with light. Type my home is light filled to get blessing 11,490. There is joy coming back into your space, peace returning to your sleep, clarity entering your dreams, and strength rising in your mornings. Because the air is no longer filled with their curses, it's filled with God's blessing. And every breath you take from here forward will remind you, you are protected, you are surrounded, and you are free. Type I breathe heaven to get blessing 11,511. There are pages in your story that the enemy tried to rewrite. He used pain to twist your memory. He used betrayal to change your trust. He used delay to make you think you were forgotten. But heaven kept the original script. The plan God made for you was never canceled. It was only paused. And now God is pressing play again. The angels are flipping the pages. The story is moving forward again. The ritual that was sent against you tried to interrupt the chapter you were stepping in. It wanted to change your direction. But what it didn't know was that God already knew the attack was coming. And He made space in your story for recovery, restoration, acceleration. You're not going back to where you were. You're moving further ahead. What was stolen is being returned with interest. Type my story is safe to get the blessing 11,566. You may feel like you lost time, like you missed moments. But heaven doesn't lose time. God redeems it. The time you spent in confusion is being turned into wisdom. The time you spent in silence is becoming preparation. The time you spent in pain is being turned into power. Nothing is wasted. Every tear has been counted. Every sigh was recorded. And now, repayment is coming. You may not see it all at once, but you'll feel the shift, the peace returning, the ideas flowing, the energy rising. That's your soul waking up to divine timing. The same place where you felt stuck will become the place of your greatest movement. The same people who watched you fall will now witness your rising. Because God is not only restoring you, He is restoring the stage you stand on. Type I receive restoration to get blessing 11,622. The ritual didn't erase your destiny. It confirmed it. It proved that you carry something valuable. No one attacks empty vessels. The battle you faced was a sign of the blessing you're stepping into. And now that heaven has interrupted the attack, it's your time to walk forward. Not with fear, not with shame, but with confidence. The path ahead is clear, and you are no longer walking alone. God is going back into the moments where you were overlooked, where you were pushed aside, where you were misunderstood, and He is healing the wound. But more than that, He is giving you a new reputation, a new platform, a new oil. The very places where you were hurt will now become places of impact. This is divine reversal. Taught my pain has purpose to get blessing 11,688. Even the dreams that faded are being revived. The ones you gave up on. The one you buried because you thought it was too late. God didn't forget. He placed them in your spirit for a reason. And now, those dreams are rising again. You'll start feeling hope in areas where you once felt numb. That's not emotion, that's resurrection. The ritual tried to bury your gifts, but God is breathing on them now. This season is not about fixing the old. It's about receiving the new. A new mindset. A new flow of ideas. A new level of strength. You don't have to beg for it. It's already yours. The enemy may have touched the last chapter, but God is writing the rest. And He writes in victory. He writes in overflow. He writes in glory. Type my story ends in glory to get blessing 11,733. You're not the same person anymore. You've grown. You've seen the truth. You felt the weight of spiritual war and survived. Now it's time to rise. To speak again. To dream again. To believe again. Your story is still alive. Your calling is still active. And heaven has already turned the page. Step into the next part with full faith. It was always meant to be yours. Type I step into the new to get blessing 11,788. Your moments with heaven opens a special window. A short season where obedience carries double impact. You are in that kind of moment right now. What was once blocked is now open, but only for a little while. The blessing is here, but it's waiting on your action. The angels are holding your promise, but they are watching to see what you will do. Because delay is dangerous when a window is open. The ritual that was done was also time-sensitive. It was designed to pull you away before you fully stepped in. The enemy knows timing matters. That's why he rushed to distract you, to keep you scrolling, sleeping, doubting, busy. But heaven is calling now. And if you answer during this window, the shift will be permanent. You can't afford to wait. Type I obey now to get the blessing 11,840. Some of you have been feeling a strange urgency, a push in your spirit, a sudden desire to move, speak, act, but you don't know why. That's heaven pressing on your soul. That's the angels tapping on your heart. Because the window is open, and this is your invitation. If you act now, the energy sent against you won't just be broken. It will become fuel for your purpose. But if you stay in silence, if you wait too long, the ritual may try to activate again. The smoke may try to return. The fog may creep back in. That's why this warning came quickly. That's why this message carries weight. Heaven doesn't waste words. If God says now, it means the protection is strongest now. The blessing is closest now. The fire is ready now. Type I say yes quickly to get blessing 11,891. Obedience is not just about doing what's right. It's about doing it on time. You don't plant seeds in winter and expect harvest in spring. You move with the season. And right now, the spiritual season is shifting in your favor. But you must move too. You must respond. Not with fear, but with urgency. With bold faith. Because God is not just calling, you're being chosen for activation. The one who did the ritual may still be watching you, hoping you will fall back into delay, waiting for the fire to go out again. But this time, they won't see your fall, they'll see your fire. This time, your obedience will be louder than their curses. Your movement will be faster than their attacks. Because you are no longer confused. You are no longer spiritually sleepy. You are awake. Type I walk in divine timing to get blessing 11,943. This is your moment to rise with power, to take the word seriously, to change your posture. This is not just inspiration, it is instruction. God is trying to shift your entire path, and all it takes is a simple yes, a prayer, a step, a decision. Every small act of obedience becomes a key that opens the next door, a door that darkness can't shut. You've asked for breakthrough. This is the path to it. You've asked for protection. This is how you keep it. You've asked for peace. This is how you walk in it. Obedience is your answer. And right now, heaven is leaning in. The angels are on assignment. The fire is moving. The oil is flowing. This is not the time to hold back. This is the time to run forward. Type I say yes to God to get blessing 11,990. This part of your story will be marked as the moment you obeyed quickly. The moment you said yes before it was too late. The moment you moved before the window closed. And because of that decision, the ritual will not return. The curse will not land. The fog will not rise again. You are stepping into protection through your own yes. Don't wait another day. Type I move now to get blessing 12,010. This is it. A moment of final choice. You've been warned. You've been awakened. You've been protected. And now, you've been instructed. Heaven has done its part. Michael drew his sword. The ritual was stopped. The curse was blocked. But none of this will matter if you go back to sleep. You must now step forward. You must now decide. Because this window will not stay open. This was not just a message. It was a mirror. God showed you what was happening behind the scenes. He exposed the person. He revealed the ritual. He told you the truth. And now, He's asking for your response. Do you believe Him? Do you trust Him? Will you move in obedience while the light is still shining? Or will you allow darkness to press in again? The enemy is watching to see if you take this seriously. He knows heaven interrupted him once, but he's hoping you'll ignore the rest. He's hoping you will get distracted. Dive again. Scroll past the warning. That's why the pull feels strong. It's why your thoughts may be swirling right now. But this is when you must press in. This is when you must stand firm. Because this is your final test. God is not angry with you. He's not disappointed in you. He's proud of you. He sees your fight. He sees your tears. But He also sees your delay. He knows where you've been stuck. And this is His hand, reaching out one more time. This is mercy. This is love. This is divine rescue knocking again. Don't ignore it. Don't wait for another sign. You are more powerful than you feel. More chosen than you know. More protected than you realize. But protection must be received. Freedom must be walked in. And blessings must be activated through faith. The one who tried to curse you will soon see the opposite. You're rising. But only if you obey. Only if you respond. Only if you step through the door while it's still open. There will be no need for fear after today. No need for guessing. God has made it plain. You were the target, but you are also the testimony. You were the one they tried to bind, but you're the one heaven is about to bless. This moment is sacred. This message is not common. What you do after this determines everything. You've seen the truth. You've heard the call. Now choose life. Choose obedience. Choose the path of fire, faith, and freedom. Don't stay in the shadows. Don't let the ritual resume. Walk away from the danger and run into your divine destiny. The final word has been spoken. Type I receive my divine ending to get blessing 12,077. You just crossed into light, and now someone else needs help getting there too. When you give through a YouTube super thanks, join as a member, or bless this ministry via PayPal link in the video description. You're not just giving, you're igniting someone else's escape. God said, what you release into light will return multiplied, and this is your moment to release. I felt it strongly. Those who help carry this message will walk in divine covering. You've seen what obedience can do. Now let your generosity become obedience too. Support the work. Fund the mission. Become part of the rescue. Give boldly. Protect others. Spread the fire.